Alright, the Doom powers have been pretty cool so far. What's next? I'm 100% certain that there's a fan fiction about this thing somewhere on the internet. Maybe I can actually try to look it up if I... Okay, never mind! Sonic X Shadow Generations has managed to capture my interest. Originally, I was lukewarm to the announcement, then the Summer Game Fest trailer got my attention, and now I am fully on board the hype train. Or in front of it, apparently. How did that even happen? Part of that has to do with the recent marketing for this game. If I had to boil it down to one word, it would be confidence. Compared to the early marketing of Sonic Frontiers, and maybe even some of Sonic Forces, I'd say that the footage coming out for this game is like Sonic Team asserting that they're going to knock this one out of the park. And based on what I'm seeing, I can't disagree. The first thing I want to talk about is the Dark Beginnings animation. This is probably one of the best 2D animation sequences I have seen in the entire Sonic series. The motion, the music, the setting, it's nothing short of immaculate. Okay, to stop gushing for a moment, this is a prequel animation to Shadow Generations that looks to be one of Shadow's memories on the Ark. It starts with Shadow and Maria having a heart-to-heart when there's a sudden explosion that's revealed to be caused by Emerald. Okay, for a really quick backstory, Emerald is a superbot that was created long ago, took out a civilization, and then vanished. It was then later discovered by Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather, and ended up on the Ark. The rest of Emerald's story is better left for another day, but this is basically who the robot is and how it ended up on the Ark. They're finally making use of the continuity for more than just one-off references. They're improving, everyone!
I'm proud of you, you know that.
Anyway, Shadow goes off to fight the bot in a beautifully animated sequence with just as great music. Look at him go! My only complaint is that we didn't get more. It's a preview, so I suspect that the full animation will probably be available on the game's release. Here's hoping it's viewable in-game because more people really need to see this animation. But, seeing as how we're talking about a game, let's get into some of the actual gameplay footage. The next trailer release after Summer Games Fest was a video on the Sonic channel called Generations of Stages, and I thought my puns were bad. Still better than how they did it in Forces, though.
It's been generations since I've seen you.
Shut up! There isn't anything brand new in the trailer, it's the same 3 stages we saw in earlier footage with a few new set pieces for each stage that's just sprinkled in. The Ark stage mainly shows how it's a visual upgrade from the original version, with a pretty great remix of Final Rush, I have to say. And the same goes for Kingdom Valley, although putting the clips side by side really shows how slow Shadow was in Sonic 06. I mean, on one hand, I get it, Sonic 06 was an exploration platforming style of gameplay, but on the other, Shadow, get a grip, man, this is a bad look. Rail Canyon/Bullet Station also has some interesting new level parts, and the visual upgrade is shown through one of the smoothest goddamn transitions I have ever seen. Like seriously, looking at it tickles my brain. The huge trains also make a grand return, bringing back all the horrifying memories of playing this stage as a kid. I swear these trains brought out a special kind of fear in me that could only be rivaled by Thomas the Tank Engine. God, Jesus! The rail grinding mechanics are different, which most of us probably already guessed. Gone are the days where momentum plays a major role in grinding, since we now have the boost to let us gain speed instantly whenever we want. That being said, we also don't need to play the grinding gotcha that is rail switching in Sonic Heroes, since the mechanic is properly scripted in the modern games. See, now that's some bullshit. Not to mention, having the boost means I no longer need to use the ear-splitting speedrunning trick from Sonic Heroes. It's still haunting me. There's also a green glowing object in one of the rail guards that's mildly hidden. I'm thinking that this is probably one of the music tokens that I mentioned in my first video. Check that out once you're done here. And the way you get it is by probably using Chaos Control to jump on the trains. On the topic of music, I have to say, as someone who's a big fan of the Sonic Heroes soundtrack, the remix of Bullet Station is just okay. It's not bad as its own song, but comparing it to the original makes it feel more empty, I guess? You know what, just take a listen for yourself for a second. Since the stage itself is showing a lot of Rail Canyon set pieces, I'm hoping that we get a Rail Canyon Bullet Station fusion for the song, kinda like what the original Generations did with Seaside Hill and Ocean Palace. Oh, actually, talking about the original Generations, SEGA, in their infinite commercial wisdom, delisted the original digital version of Sonic Generations from every online market and decided to make it available only as a digital bundle. This decision is weird and unnecessary, and I only kinda get it. Generations is an old game. In fact, as of recording this video, it's approaching its 13th anniversary in November, so I can kinda see SEGA not wanting it to leech off of the sales from their new release. But I feel like anyone buying a version of Sonic Generations for the content itself would more likely want to pick up Sonic X Shadow Generations anyway. The logistics are a little confusing to me, but I think Thanos snapping the original generations is only going to incentivize people to just sail the 7 seas for it. The one thing that does somewhat worry me is what'll happen to the modding community. I'd say the generations revolutionized modding Sonic games in a way, so it'd be a shame to see all the work put into these mods for the game go to waste. I'm hoping that they can be transferred to the remaster, but man, if not, that's a real slap to the face. And with that, we come to the latest footage, the Doom Powers trailer. And yeah, this is the one that got me. I saw this trailer and my 95% chance of a day one purchase went to 100%. I swear it's like SEGA took all of their best material, crammed it into one trailer and said,
Just watch this.
It starts with Shadow in front of a weird black egg-like structure that's near the entrance stage of the Space Colony arc. Guess somebody wasn't good enough for the S rank, huh? The thing cracks open and the Doom energy, I guess, engulfs Shadow and unlocks what I assume is the first Doom power, the Doom Spears. In terms of functionality, it seems to operate as an upgrade to Chaos Spear, kinda like Chaos Lance from Sonic 06, except a little different. It lets you strike 5 enemies at once and seems to affect different enemies in different ways. For example, any robots hit with it are just paralyzed, but the weird blue, almost hologram-like black arms type of enemies get one-hit KO'd. The one other thing I noticed in this part of the trailer is that Shadow was running through a level that looks a little bit like Sunset Heights from Forces, probably because it is. Actually, to be specific, it seems more similar to classic Sonic's version called Ghost Town.
Yeah, the ghost of decent level design.
The next power shown is Doom Blast, a quick flurry of attacks followed by a kick to launch the enemy upwards and then another to send them flying. The rush of initial attacks gives me vibes that resemble Sonic's attacks in Frontiers as well as the Chaos Attack combo from Sonic 06. Shadow can apparently use this move to launch enemies into other enemies, walls, and objects, and there's even a targeting line to show the enemy's path when launched. I think this move is really fitting for a character like Shadow. Anyone who knows the character would agree that slamming an enemy into a switch is probably something that Shadow would do, unlike Sonic who would probably bounce off the enemy to hit the switch himself. The Doom Morph is the first power that's just a full transformation. The trailer says that it lets you conquer all terrain, but it's probably just a way to traverse this poison-looking terrain. I don't really have an issue with that, but calling it all terrain kinda just reminds me of that one Phineas and Ferb episode. The movement looks fine, and there seems to be some orbs you swing off of, like the custom avatar from Forces. The other point of interest is that some of the footage seems to include Chaos Island from Sonic Frontiers. Iizuka actually confirmed in an interview during Gamescom that they wanted to go until Frontiers in terms of stages, and I'm interested to see how they'll work this into the story since he said it'll also overlap with Sonic Generations' story. Maybe Shadow's Sunset Heights level could be leading into how he just appears out of nowhere in Forces. I think that'd be pretty neat. The Doom Wing actually made its first appearance as the eye catch for the Summer Games Fest trailer, but this time we get to see how it actually works. I had a theory about it working like the glider from Sonic 06, and I'm kind of right. It seems to work like a glider, and you can boost, which maybe maintains your height. I also noticed that it looks like it has a wind-up animation, and I really hope that's not the case because it could be really pace-breaking. Otherwise, the only thing to note is this swirly white ring that appears for a short second in Radical Highway. I'm guessing that it's probably some kind of launcher for the Doom Wing form? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see about that one. The final power is the Doom Surf, a skill for traversing water. It has a manta ray-like appearance and Shadow rides on it. Hey, wait a second! Water traversal is a bit of a weird one, I have to admit, mainly because the boost already lets you run on water in this game. You can go through these blue hoops, which I assume are surf exclusive, but I'm having trouble seeing how this can be applied into a level. I thought revealing Rail Canyon was about as much of a mic drop as this game could do for me, but this reveal basically body slams the mic, beats it up, and takes its life savings, because there was no universe in which I could have predicted that they'd bring back Metal Goddamn Overlord and stick him in a flooded Final Fortress as a boss concept. What else can I say? 10 out of 10, I'm digging the Sonic Heroes representation. That's it, I'm done. Okay, I will talk about this. There's no way I could have just left it there. That being said, I'm struggling to find things to comment on since most of it is already self-evident in the footage. Metal Overlord's design was already really cool in Heroes, and seeing this visual upgrade is just amazing as a Sonic Heroes fan. The gameplay seems to be fairly straightforward for most of the boss. There's all this debris strewn about Final Fortress, and you need to slam into it in order to launch it at Metal Overlord, and you can also apparently directly damage him by getting into close proximity by using the ramps and rainbow rings. A lot of his attacks seem to come back from Heroes with a new twist to him, where you basically need to use your Doom powers in order to take him out. But the real thing that got to me was how intense Metal Overlord's voice acting sounded. Well, I'd say that covers almost all of the new footage that's out so far. If you like this video, I have another one where I covered the first few trailers of Sonic X Shadow Generation, so consider giving that one a watch. As usual, liking and subscribing is the best way for me to know that you guys want more of this, and it motivates me to keep getting better. I have one more Sonic video essay planned out that's coming probably in the next 2 or so months. I'm really excited about this one, and it's gonna have a 30-minute runtime. Other than that, I do Let's Plays of Sonic games, Nintendo games, and I have plans for other games like Metal Gear Rising and the like in the future. So yeah, hopefully I'll be seeing you guys in another video. Till then, I want to give a big thanks to Sinister Pixel, LPs, and a bunch of other friends who want to remain anonymous. I always appreciate the feedback that you guys give on these videos while they're still work in progress because it has consistently helped me get better at making these.